Good morning. It's our last morning here at Grand Mesa National Forest in Colorado, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to just start to do a quick video about packing the A-liner for long distance trips, boondocking. And this video is really more for people who, like us, are not so much into minimalist camping. So if you are the kind of person who can simplify life, unlike me, this video won't interest you because we kind of like to bring things. We're not in the class of people who bring kayaks and mountain bikes yet. We haven't figured that one out yet, but for example, we like to grill outside, and even though our A-liner has a wall attachment for a grilling table on the wall right here, you know, we really like to have a separate standing table because sometimes it's too windy on this side of the trailer and we'd have to move the trailer, or we'd have to factor that in when we're parking. And it's just really hard to do all that, get it level, you know, get the sun right, get in the shade if you want shade, all that stuff. So for example, that's just one of many items. And excuse the mosquitoes here. I'm going to try to stick to the most important factors that are pretty basic, you know, just basic principles of packing an A-liner. And if you're someone who's thinking, oh, how do you even use an A-liner and how do you get all your stuff in this folding camper, maybe this would be helpful to you. I think the problem with packing videos is everyone's packing is as individual as people are, and it's like talking about what menu should you bring on a camping trip. Well, some people are vegetarian, other people aren't. For example, we're kind of every other day vegetarian. And sometimes we cook chili, which is vegetarian, but even that can put off quite a bit of odor. And the basic principles of packing an A-liner camper, where you're going to be moving all of your shelving and items that are up above the fold line, where the camper folds down, everything you have set up when you got to the campsite to use above that line has to go somewhere, and a lot of the time it goes on the floor. You know, of course, we have an A-liner LXE, which is not the same as an A-liner Classic. The layout is different, and we have the two dormers, so our packing situation is slightly different from some other people's A-liners. The basic principles are kind of the same, which are, you know, try to put the things that you might need in an emergency situation, but you rarely might need, such as if you're like us and you're not going to RV parks, but there's the slight chance that in a blizzard you might get tired of looking for campsites and want to go to one and get some heat, you might want to bring an electric heater. Those are incredibly nice if it's freezing out and snowing. So we put ours way under the bed where we can hardly ever reach it unless we're, we want to spend quite a bit of time getting it out. Put the things that you might only need in a big emergency way in the back underneath, and at least you know you have them. And then progressively work your way toward the door, so the things that you might need the most, you have right there at the door when you're done packing up the A-liner. And if you're coming here to Grand Mesa, don't forget your mosquito net and your raincoat. It's August. Remember to bring some kind of a tarp to cover up your things that you might need to put out on the ground. Of course, you can put them underneath the trailer, and we do that occasionally, but they tend to get sometimes it gets pretty muddy under there. And right here we found a rock we could put our table on, our folding tables under there. And I'll show you this other item that we have really gotten a lot of use out of, and I did want to recommend to people. We found this big duffel bag here to be super useful for packing up things that are kind of long, like our outdoor little folding camping toilets. And we have our electrical cables, and we have our security cable locks and things like that. We use this for things that can, we don't mind if they really get wet outside, but we don't want to have to handle them individually when we need to throw them inside the trailer when we're packing. So I will put a link to this particular duffel bag. You can see it's been through the ringer here. It's really heavy duty fabric, and it's not waterproof, but the zipper's very sturdy. Zipper's very sturdy. I mean, we do put plastic bags around some of the things in here just in case it's raining a lot. So that's been a great thing for us. And also, we like to sit in beach chairs. We just find them to be more relaxing. And we bring two because we have two people. So lately, the easiest way to fold these up and move them around, we found, is just to put some bungees. Put bungees on the ends. Basically 2 bungees, and it keeps it together as a unit, and you can shove it in the A-liner, and I'll show you how we do that. Hi, Ranger. These cabinets that we have in the LXE model have been wonderful, and the way we do it is we put all our pots and pans in this side, and over here we have miscellaneous electrical, DVD videos, plastic wine glasses we have on our inverter. We put toilet paper in here because this tends to be an electrical hub, and it's right next to, if it's next to the refrigerator, the propane cooker for the refrigerator is right back here on this wall, and it does get really hot in here. Plus, with the electrical items in there, you don't want to pack that super tight. We've had a lot of good luck with this. The cabinet has never been forced open on the washboard roads. And we just put all of our heavy pots and pans in here. And of course, we nest them down with the heaviest items on the bottom and the lighter items on the top. This has been great. This non-skid shelf liner fabric, especially if you have a non-stick pan. These things get marked up very quickly on washboard roads, or if you're going over rough roads. And that's one of the things. You get a lot of vibration bouncing around at least a foot, and whether things are going to, get broken or shift. So we simply just wrap the non-skid side of this in this, and we put it upside down. So yes, it's touching something, but it's the non-skid surface that's touching the foam, and not something hard that could scrape the non-skid surface. So it's time for us to pack up the inside of the A-liner. We basically like to just lay out the bed as if we were going to sleep in it, and then we put all of our pillows on top of the bedspread. We have 3 bedspreads, so that does affect our packing because it's very thick, and the reason we have those, in case you haven't watched my other videos, is we really don't like using the heater quite so much. It saves propane and saves electricity. So we have a lot of pillows because it helps us to stay comfortable, and when we watch videos at night, we have something to prop our backs on. And it works just great to put the pillows in the very center. The thing you have to guard against is not loading it up too thick, because you can end up springing the hinges on the roof when the roof folds down. But if you put them in the middle, there happens to be, and I'll show you how this works, when the A wall comes down and folds this way, and likewise this side folds that way, there's an area right in the center where there isn't anything. And you can put a lot of stuff there, actually, and pillows that's what we've chosen to put there. Also, we take down the net, just detach it, and we just lay it down on the bed with all of our little stuff in it, and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays there, and then when we get to the campsite, we can just lift it and put it back up. Things like even our iPads or earplugs, things like that can just be left on the bed, and they don't tend to go anywhere on the road. They're right there when we get to the campsite. Another big packing tip, if you're owning an A-liner, things are going to slip around in here on this slippery floor, which has really held up well, but you can put a lot of things on this rug and they really won't move around very much. Now, I think I've shown you this plastic storage unit that in a previous video, and we bought it at Target. It's basically, we took the drawers out of the top two sections so we could just use them as open shelving, and then we have our dishes in here and our kitchen cooking utensils and matches and hot plates and foil, everything else in here. It's important to make sure that when if the drawers are going to slide open on the road, which could happen, make sure you have them facing into a cabinet. Like face them into this wall here. And we really haven't had any broken dishes, any kind of broken items, once we've stored these things on the floor, regardless of what kind of road we've been on. We have so much little stuff that ends up getting accumulated on these trips, like Caladril for mosquito bites, and this is for the dog food, Anyway, we have a lot of stuff, and it, really gets to be too much to have to deal with when you're packing up. So we just end up putting quite a bit of it in just some Ziploc bags, and then we just throw the Ziploc bag on the bed, and it doesn't go anywhere when we're driving. Two other items that have been so important to us have been these moving blankets from Harbor Freight. These are the smaller size ones, and they're super inexpensive. We use them, and they've been very critical in helping us to not mark up the cabinets as much as possible. We haven't had total perfect success keeping our cabinets not marked. So you can see over here, and sorry about the dirt from the raining day today, but that's marked up now, and I'm going to have to touch that up with some stain, and I do have a formula for the stain in one of my previous videos. Right here, I don't know if you can see, but there's a spot that we got a huge ding in our refrigerator finish. There it is. That was from our beach chairs rubbing over and over and over on the door of the refrigerator. So I've gotten wise to that now, and I use these moving blankets. I'll show you the order, but basically you just put these where you think things might move and hit the cabinets. This is one of the advantages of being not a minimalist camper. You have so much stuff on the floor that it keeps the refrigerator door from opening on the road, and you can pack it tightly so things just don't move around all that much. But remember, if you have these moving blankets and you leave them outside, the chipmunks, squirrels, whatever, they just love to use this material for their beddings. We have a few major holes from the chipmunks on this one. So what about our clothes? What do we do? Well, we're still perfecting that, and I do think eventually I'd like to get the clothes stored in this microwave cabinet. We removed the microwave cabinet, and we've now have a lot of storage in there, going way back to the wall, and you just have to be careful not to get it up too high, because the heat from the stove can things touching the stove will get very hot. Our system right now has been to have our clothing in these two bags while we're in the A-liner, and then we have two bigger bags in the car from which we draw our reserve clothing. So the clothing bags, though, are also extremely helpful to prevent sliding of materials on the floor. So we just stuff those where we need them to keep things from moving around. So what about this cabinet here that the Thetford cassette toilet is in? This is really useful for things that might have water in them or liquids that could jostle and come loose and spill on the road. We put our water bottles in there. Okay, it's time to put the shelving unit down on the floor. Then these lightweight parts we just put on top, and they haven't been damaged, even though we might put a few other things on top of them. I have to put this back there. I've got this water bottle. I think I'll just put it in here. It's not going to get damaged. One of the suitcases can go right here. And now we're almost ready to pack up this other side. Almost ready to pack up this area under here, which is where we put our beach chairs and the black duffel bag and all those hard to pack things. It's really better to lower the dormer before you put these things on the floor because you need some place to stand. First, I put in the white table. Next, we put in the black duffel bag next to the refrigerator and the cabinet because, and this is something that's happened a lot, this propane sensor goes off or can get, if you accidentally put something next to that propane alarm, it can go off on the road and be beeping, beeping, beeping. And sometimes it will beep just because something spilled in the refrigerator. So it's best to put something padded like this duffel bag, and I even put a moving blanket over there sometimes just to keep it from being hit. And speaking of spills in the refrigerator with changes in altitude, I recommend any kind of container for your sauces, ketchup, mustard, and salad dressing, things like that. Any kind of container that has a screw-on lid. We've had good luck with these that we bought on Amazon. Also for your toilet kit, lotions and shampoos and special liquids, Nalgene are just the best. Absolutely the greatest. On the airplane too. They don't ever explode. These Snapware things, we've had really bad luck with these because the little tabs break very quickly. They become loose and brittle, and there's just a really weak connection right here. And also when the tabs are down, they take up even more room in the door of the refrigerator, whereas these are kind of skinny and small, and it's amazing how much you can actually fit in one of these. I'll put a link for these in the video description. Okay, I've got the beach chairs in there. See how much of it goes back under there, and they do have the sharp edges, so I'm going to put a moving blanket. Grab a moving blanket. Put a moving blanket back in here next to that propane alarm and next to the refrigerator door to keep those from moving around. Okay, here's how far we've gotten. We've got all this stuff on the floor and the bed, stuff on the bed, and the dishes are put away, the dormer is put down, and the only thing left in some ways, except for some minor items, is to lower these A-walls. Here's the one tip I'd just like to pass along. I'm sure most of you figured it out who own A-liners, but it's really good if you can figure out a system where you're packing items right here that you can actually stand on to reach the latches, to undo these latches on, and sorry, the focus, undo those latches on the A-wall. That just makes it a whole lot easier. For example, I can't really walk on these plastic shelves. They would just crumble, so I do have enough room though. With this stuff I can walk on almost all that except for my suitcase. Got one A-wall down. Okay, both A-walls are down now. We have to lower the roof, but I just wanted to show you this nice little convenient open space there where you can stuff your pillows. And over here we still have a lot of room for stuff. Maybe we should bring more things. I'm just kind of kidding about that. Okay. Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So we made it out. Phew. If you have any other tips on packing, please include them in the comments below that are unique to the A-liner. Thanks for watching.